Yo, what's up guys, Assalamualaikum. How you guys doing? I hope you guys having an amazing day, inshallah. Today is a really early day, 11 a.m. Anyway guys, so today in this video, we're gonna be eating death row inmates' last meal. Basically, if you guys didn't understand from what I just said, you know prisoners, people who go to prison for doing, you know, illegal stuff. Well, there are the ones that get sentenced to death, you know, like the government just says, khalas, we cannot have you living anymore. And for those people, they get a special type of, you know, last meal. They can ask the government with whatever they want, and you know, it'll be given to them and they can eat that before they die. And there are some prisoners that went really famous because of the crimes they committed and the death row meals that they, you know, they requested. So today we're gonna be eating those meals, and I'm gonna tell you guys the creepy and horrifying stories of these prisoners. Coming in at number 1 is James Edward Smith. And bro, before I get into his story, let's go and get what he requested as his last meal. He requested dirt. And I know what you guys are thinking, what a weird request. Who wants to eat dirt as their last meal? If I had my last meal, I would definitely go for something delicious, like, you know, something sweet like donuts or something to, you know, something which I like. But this guy requested dirt. Anyway, the authorities of the prison didn't give him the dirt because they thought that he's gonna use it for some ritual, you know, for some black magic or like sihr or something like that. So they didn't give that. Instead, what they gave was yogurt. So guys, let's go and buy the yogurt, and I'm gonna tell you guys the story once we get the yogurt. Alright guys, we got our yogurt right over here. Let's open it and start eating, and I'm gonna tell you guys the story of James Edward Smith. You know how your moms always say yogurt is healthy for you. So yeah, mom, if you're watching this, I'm eating yogurt right now, bro. I hope you're happy, inshallah. So one day, James approached a teller's window at the Union National Life Insurance Company in Houston, Texas. Armed with a gun, wearing a stocking mask, James slid open the glass and pointed the weapon at the teller, ordering her to hand over all the money. Basically a robbery, you know. When she refused and hid behind a filing cabinet, Smith turned his attention to the 44-year-old Larry Don Rose, the company's district manager. Rose complied with Smith's demand and retrieved money from the cash withdrawer. And then the district manager gave James the money that he requested. As the district manager was about to walk away, James ordered him to return to the window. While the two engaged in conversation, Rose pleaded with James not to shoot him and began taking off bracelets off of his wrist. You know, gold bracelets and like diamonds and stuff like that. Stuff that are valuable, you know. James then fired 2 shots, with the second hitting Rose in the upper left side of the chest. Basically like right over here, where his heart is, you know. Rose was rushed to the hospital where he died several hours later. I don't know why he killed him, bro. The district manager, you know, he gave him his bracelets and his gold chains and everything that the robber was asking for, but then the robber still killed him. Anyway, James fled the building on foot, and he was chased down by 2 police workers. They ran through a field and then into an apartment complex where James fired open on his pursuers. As he left the complex, he tripped in the street and was subdued by several people chasing him. A passing detective, someone from the government, who had noticed the commotion, he handcuffed James. The money was found nearby and the gun was located in the field. And that's basically the story of James Edward Smith. Look at this, bro. Alright guys, so the next prisoner in this list is Angel Diaz. But before I get on with the story, let me go get the food that he requested as his last meal, and I'll come back. Alright guys, so we're finally back with the meal that he requested.
What?
Okay, I know you guys are like, what is this guy on about? Where's the meal? Well, he didn't request a meal. He just wanted to die, you know, without eating anything. Anyway, check out this beautiful water that I'm with, you know. Sometimes I like to be around nature, you know, it really refreshes you. Anyway, let's get on with his story. Okay guys, this is the reason why he became a prisoner, and this is the reason why he was executed. So in July 1978, Angel Diaz killed the director of a drug rehabilitation center, stabbing him 19 times while he was sleeping. He was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. But he escaped from prison and he almost beat a prisoner guard to death. And then he fled to Florida. A few months later, him and his 2 friends, they robbed the Velvet Swing Lounge. It's a club in Florida. During the robbery, the manager was shot to death. The police also suspected Diaz of committing another murder in Miami. He was arrested, but then he got bailed, so he came out of jail again. But he was arrested again. And this time, to escape, this is what he did. He held held a guard at knife point and beating another guard. But literally 5 years later, he was found guilty of first-degree murder. And the judge finally decided to give him a death sentence. He was killed with a needle. Basically, he was, you know, a needle with poison was injected into his body. But he still didn't die after a whole 30 minutes. So they had to put some more drugs in the injection and kill him that way. Well, that was a terrifying story. But off to the next one, guys. Alright guys, the next prisoner on the list is John Wayne Gacy, and his last meal request was KFC right over here, bro, as you guys know. Alright guys, I got my KFC right over here. Let's start with the story. Okay guys, John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer who tortured and murdered at least 33 young men. He became known as the Killer Clown due to his public performances as a clown prior to his discovery of his crime. So basically, this guy was someone who was a clown. He was, you know, performing in the circus and everything. But people didn't know that he would actually, you know, kill people. Gacy committed all of his murders in his ranch-style house. Typically, he would lure a victim to his home and dupe them into donning handcuffs on the pretext of demonstrating a magic trick. So basically, he would invite people to his house and be like, I'm gonna do a magic trick. And he would handcuff both of their hands as a magic trick, you know, and then he would do dirty stuff to them, and then he would finally kill them. He would kill them by, you know, suffocating them or doing something stupidly, you know, crazy. 26 people were buried in the backyard of his house, bro. This guy would kill people and bury them in the backyard of his own house, and he had thrown 4 of the people to a river next to his house, you know. Finally, in 1980, he was convicted, and he was, you know, the judge basically gave him a death sentence and made him take an injection, just like the poisonous injection that I had mentioned in the previous one. But let's see how this KFC tastes, bro. Look at this chicken, bro. No wonder he chose KFC as his last meal before his death. Bismillah. Alright guys, so right now I'm at the playground, and the next person that we're gonna be talking about is Ronnie Lee Gardner. And one of the things that was included in his last meal before his execution was a vanilla ice cream right over here. Guys, I need to eat this ice cream quickly because I live in Dubai, and you know, the freaking ice cream is gonna melt. It's like 40 degrees outside. It's already almost melting, bro. Look at this. Bismillah. Anyway, let's get on with his story. Gardner killed Melvin John Otterstone during a robbery in Salt Lake City. While being moved in April 1985 to a court hearing for the homicide, he fatally shot attorney. Bro, he killed someone because of which he went to court. After he went to court, he killed the lawyer in the court. How shocking is that, bro? Convicted of 2 murders, Gardner was sentenced to life imprisonment for the first count, and he received death penalty for the second. Gardner was charged with another capital crime for stabbing an inmate in 1994. So it didn't just stop there. He went to prison and he stabbed another prisoner. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. And the legal team of Gardner couldn't, you know, defend him anymore. He was doing so much of, you know, bad things. So basically, during his trial proceedings for the murder, Gardner attempted to escape from custody with a revolver smuggled into the Hall of Justice. The department believed that the gun was passed to Gardner as he was being escorted into the courthouse from the underground parking lot. Basically, someone gave him a gun when he was entering a courthouse. Gardner was immediately shot in the chest by guard Luther Hensley. That's crazy, bro. Literally, how can someone give a gun to a prisoner in a court? Alright guys, so I'm over here at a parking lot, and this is the perfect place to, you know, describe this story that I'm about to tell you guys. So the prisoner story that I'm about to tell you is called Teresa Lewis. She was a woman, okay? She's not a man. For her last meal as a prisoner, she requested fried chicken. And as you guys know, I just now ate KFC, so my stomach is full, you know, I can't eat any more, you know, chicken. So Teresa had a husband and a stepson. In 2002, Teresa met 21-year-old Matthew and 19-year-old Rodney at Walmart in Danville. In October 2002, Charles came home on a visit from army training in Maryland. Matthew and Lamont were given $1,200 by Lewis to purchase guns and ammunition to kill Julian Lewis and his son Charles for the insurance money. Basically, Matthew bought ammunition and he bought guns to kill the woman. Basically, Matthew and some other guy, they were given $1,200 to go to the gun shop and buy guns to kill Julian Lewis and his son for insurance money. Their attempt to kill them did not succeed. A week later, on the night of October 30th, Matthew shot Julian Lewis when she was sleeping several times, while Fuller shot Charles in his bedroom with a shotgun. After discovering Charles was not dead, Fuller shot him twice more. Teresa waited another 45 minutes before calling for help. While waiting for the police, she removed money from her dying husband's wallet. So first of all, she shot her husband, she killed him, and she took money from his wallet when he was dead. She divided $300 with Matthew. However, when the police arrived, the police heard the dying husband saying, "My wife knows who did this to me." While she claimed the two had been killed by unidentified assailants in a home invasion, shortly after, Teresa Lewis was caught attempting to withdraw $50,000 from her dead husband's account with a forged check, with a fake check basically. Within a week, she confessed to the authorities that she had offered money to have her husband killed. That's so sickening, bro. Imagine your wife killing you for money. That is so messed up. So yeah, bro, she literally killed her own husband just for $50,000. That's it. And in 2010, she died. Alright guys, the next person we're going to be talking about is Ricky Ray Rector. Triple R name, that's very unique. On March 21st, 1981, Ricky and some of his friends drove to a dance hall at Tommy's old-fashioned home-style restaurant in Conway. When one friend could not pay the $3 cover charge, he was refused entry. Rector became extremely angry and pulled out a .38 caliber pistol from his waistband. He fired several shots, wounding the two security officers and killing a third man named Arthur D. Criswell, who died almost instantly after being struck in the throat and the forehead. Rector left the scene of the murder in a friend's car and wandered the city for 3 days, staying in the woods or with relatives. 3 days later, Rector's sister convinced him to turn himself in. So basically, the criminal's sister convinced her own brother to turn himself in to the police. That is some true honesty, bro. One of Rector's friends arrived at Rector's mother's house shortly after 3 p.m. and he spoke with Rector's mom and sister. Shortly after that, Rector arrived and greeted his friend. Martin just ignored Rector and continued his conversation with Rector's mom. Rector, again, he became angry and he took out his pistol from behind his back and fired 2 shots into Martin, striking him in the jaw and in the neck. Rector then turned around and walked out of the house. Once he walked past his mother's backyard, Rector put his gun to his own temple and fired. Basically, Rector put his gun to his own head and shot himself. But the shocking part is, even though he shot himself in the head, he didn't die. So the police finally got a hold of him and took him to trial to the court. And after all of that, Rector was finally sentenced to death. And his last meal was also fried chicken, the thing which I just now ate. So I'm pretty full. I don't feel like eating it, you know?